The 90s were packed with turbocharged family cars, rally wagons, and luxury sedans that could smoke Corvettes and embarrass M3s. Most were never sold in America. Most enthusiasts still don't know they exist. Here are 10 unknown Japanese sleeper cars of the 1990s. Number 10, Toyota Chaser JZX100 Tourer V. The Toyota Chaser JZX100 Tourer V is the four-door Supra that Toyota never officially called a Supra. Launched in 1996, this executive sedan was built for Japanese businessmen who needed practicality but refused to sacrifice performance. Under the hood sat the legendary 1JZ, a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-six that shared the same DNA as the Supra's famous 2JZ. With 280 horsepower from the factory, thanks to Japan's gentleman's agreement and rear-wheel drive, the Tourer V could hit 60 in just over 5 seconds while looking like it was headed to a sales meeting. The magic was in the execution. Variable valve timing made the power delivery smooth enough for daily driving, but when you buried the throttle, this sedan absolutely ripped. And because it shared so many parts with the Supra, the tuning potential was limitless. A bigger turbo, fuel system upgrades, and an ECU tune could push you past 500 horsepower on an engine that's famous for taking abuse. The chassis was equally impressive. Communicative steering, balanced weight distribution, and a setup that made it a drift missile straight from the factory. But here's the genius, it looked like absolutely nothing special. Conservative styling, 4 doors, and a refined interior meant you could park it anywhere without drawing attention. Only the drivers who knew would recognize what they were looking at. And if you're wondering why you've never seen one, Toyota never sold it in the US. It was Japan only, which kept it flying under the radar for decades. Now with the 25-year import rule opening the floodgates, prices are climbing fast. Still, compared to what you'd pay for a Supra, the Chaser remains one of the best performance bargains from the 90s. Number 9, Mitsubishi Galant VR4 8th generation. Moving from Toyota's drift sedan to Mitsubishi's rally weapon, the 8th generation Galant VR4 was the car that could outrun American muscle and do it in all weather conditions. Released in 1996, this unassuming mid-size sedan packed technology that wouldn't look out of place in a supercar. Under the hood sat a 2.5-liter twin-turbo V6 producing 276 horsepower, again limited by Japan's gentleman's agreement. But the real story was what happened when all 4 wheels hit the pavement. Mitsubishi equipped the VR4 with their advanced all-wheel drive system, complete with active yaw control lifted straight from the Lancer Evolution 4. This wasn't just grip for bad weather, this was a sophisticated setup that actively managed power distribution to help the car rotate through corners. Add in active suspension and Brembo brakes, and you had a sedan that could embarrass dedicated sports cars on a back road. The numbers backed it up, 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, and a top speed of 150 miles per hour. For context, a 1996 Ford Mustang GT with its 4.6-liter V8 took 6.6 seconds to hit 60. The Galant walked it, but the VR4's styling was its secret weapon. Smooth 90s lines, subtle spoilers, and an interior that prioritized comfort over aggression meant most people saw just another family sedan. No wild body kit, no massive wing, just a clean professional-looking car that happened to have rally pedigree hiding underneath. The only real tells were the twin exhaust tips and slightly larger wheels. Details you'd miss if you weren't looking. The catch? Mitsubishi only imported about 3,000 8th-gen VR4s to the United States between 1996 and 2000, making them genuinely rare today. And because the Lancer Evolution eventually stole all the spotlight, the Galant VR4 became one of the most forgotten performance sedans of the decade. But for those who know, it remains one of the ultimate Japanese sleepers. Number 8, Nissan Cedric Y33 Gran Turismo Turbo. After rally-bred sedans, let's talk about a luxury cruiser that had no business being this fast. The Nissan Cedric Y33 Gran Turismo Turbo was Japan's answer to the Executive Express, except Nissan decided to add a turbocharged engine and rear-wheel drive to keep things interesting. Launched in 1995, the Cedric was marketed toward older executives and family men who wanted comfort and refinement. The Gran Turismo trim, however, was aimed at younger buyers who refused to drive something boring. Under the long hood sat a 3.0-liter VG30 twin-cam turbo V6 pushing out 255 horsepower and 253 pound-feet of torque. Power went to the rear wheels through a 4-speed automatic, and while that might not sound exciting on paper, the Cedric had a party trick. It was shockingly quick in a straight line. The combination of turbo power and a rear-biased platform meant this luxury sedan could run with sports cars when the road opened up. The torque delivery was smooth and linear, exactly what you'd expect from a car designed for comfortable highway cruising, but when when you floored it, the Cedric surprised. The styling was peak 90s Japanese luxury. Clean lines, a formal roofline, quad-round headlights that gave it a BMW 7 Series vibe, and an interior loaded with wood trim and premium materials. Nothing about it screamed performance. The short bumpers and subtle body kit on the Gran Turismo were easy to miss, and most people just saw an older gentleman's car. That's what made it perfect. You could cruise past a stoplight in total anonymity, then embarrass someone who thought you were just another slow luxury barge. The Cedric Y33 was never sold in the United States, staying exclusive to the Japanese domestic market. That obscurity has kept it off most enthusiasts' radars, even as other 90s JDM cars have exploded in value. Low mileage examples are still floating around Japan, and with the 25-year rule now in effect, these executive sleepers are slowly making their way stateside. If you want a luxury cruiser with hidden punch that nobody recognizes, the Cedric Gran Turismo delivers. Number 7. Honda Accord Type R CH1. Shifting gears from Japanese luxury to European aggression, the Honda Accord Type R CH1 is one of the most forgotten Type Rs ever made. And that's insane because this thing was an absolute weapon. Built from 1998 to 2002 in Honda's Swindon, UK factory, the Accord Type R was Honda's answer to a question nobody asked. What if we took a sensible family sedan and turned it into a naturally aspirated screamer? The result was a 4-door that could hang with hot hatches while carrying your entire family. The heart of the CH1 was the H22A7 engine, a 2.2-liter VTEC inline-4 producing 212 horsepower at a stratospheric 7,200 RPM. That might not sound like much in today's world, but remember, this was naturally aspirated and built in the late 90s. The VTEC kicked in at 5,800 RPM, and when it did, the entire character of the car changed. Suddenly, this refined sedan became a high-revving missile with an 8,000 RPM redline. Power went to the front wheels through a close ratio 5-speed manual with a Torsen limited slip differential, the same setup used in the legendary Integra Type R. The result? 0 to 60 in 7.0 seconds and a top speed of 142 miles per hour. But Honda didn't stop at the engine. They stiffened the chassis, stripped out sound deadening, deleted the sunroof and air conditioning, and bolted in Recaro bucket seats. The suspension was borrowed from the NSX, the brakes were upgraded, and the entire car was put on a serious diet, losing about 130 pounds compared to a standard Accord. The only real giveaway was the massive rear wing, which most buyers kept because subtlety was never the point once you signed up for a Type R. Without it though, this thing could pass as a basic Accord until you heard that screaming VTEC engine. Here's the problem. Honda only built around 1,800 examples for the UK market. It was never sold in Japan or the United States, making it one of the rarest Type Rs in existence. And because it was overshadowed by the Civic Type R and Integra Type R, most people forgot it even existed. Today, clean examples are climbing in value, but it's still one of the most accessible ways to own a proper 90s Type R with 4 doors and a trunk. Number 6. Toyota Caldina GT-T. From screaming naturally aspirated Hondas to turbocharged Toyota wagons, the Caldina GT-T proves that Japan had zero shame about making grocery getters faster than sports cars. Released in 1997, the Caldina was Toyota's mid-size station wagon, practical, spacious, and designed for families who needed cargo room. Then Toyota's engineers decided to stuff a turbocharged engine under the hood and create one of the most unassuming sleepers of the decade. The GT-T came with the 3S GTE engine, a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4 producing 260 horsepower. This was the same engine found in rally-bred Celica GT4s, and it brought serious performance credentials to a vehicle most people would use for hardware store runs. Later models got even better when Toyota swapped in the 3S GTE for select trims, but the real prize came in 2002 when they dropped the 1JZ GTE. Yes, the same 2.5-liter turbo straight 6 from the Chaser into the GT4 variant. Suddenly, you had a station wagon with Supra levels of tuning potential. All-wheel drive came standard, making the Caldina a year-round weapon that could handle snow, rain, or spirited backroad driving without breaking a sweat. The boxy wagon styling was about as exciting as a tax return, which made it perfect for blending in. No aggressive body kit, no loud exhaust, just a clean wagon that happened to have enough power to embarrass unsuspecting sports cars at a stoplight. Inside, it was all business. Practical interior, plenty of cargo space, and enough room for a family of 5. The Caldina GT-T was never sold in the United States, staying exclusive to Japan and a few export markets. That obscurity kept it off most enthusiasts' radar for years, even as other JDM icons skyrocketed in value. But with the right-hand drive import scene growing and people searching for unique alternatives to the usual suspects, the Caldina is finally getting recognition. If you need a daily driver that can haul gear, handle bad weather, and still pull on sports cars when nobody's expecting it, this wagon delivers. Number 5. Mitsubishi Legnum VR4. Sticking with the wagon theme, the Mitsubishi Legnum VR4 takes everything insane about the Galant VR4 and adds a massive cargo area. Released in 1996, the Legnum was essentially the station wagon version of the Galant, sharing the same platform and mechanicals. But calling it just a wagon is like calling the Lancer Evolution just a sedan. Mitsubishi took their rally-bred technology and packaged it into something you could take to IKEA. Under the hood sat the same 2.5-liter twin-turbo V6 found in the Galant VR4, producing 276 horsepower and backed by Mitsubishi's advanced all-wheel drive system. Active yaw control, active stability control, and a sophisticated AWD setup meant this wagon could attack corners like it was engineered for rally stages, because the DNA absolutely was. The Legnum VR4 could hit 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds and push past 160 miles per hour with the speed limiter removed. Those numbers put it ahead of contemporary Mustangs and Camaros, except you could fold down the rear seats and haul furniture afterward. The styling was pure 90s Japanese wagon, clean, understated, and completely forgettable unless you knew what you were looking at. Subtle side skirts, a small rear spoiler, and quad exhaust tips were the only hints that this wasn't your standard family hauler. Inside, it maintained that practical wagon layout with comfortable seating for 5 and enough cargo space to make it genuinely useful for daily life. But the Recaro-style sport seats and leather-wrapped steering wheel reminded you this was no ordinary station wagon. Like most Japanese performance wagons, the Legnum VR4 was never officially sold in the United States. It remained a JDM exclusive, which kept it virtually unknown outside of Japan for decades. Even today, most enthusiasts fixate on the Galant VR4 sedan and forget the wagon variant exists. But for those hunting a practical sleeper that can embarrass sports cars while carrying mountain bikes and camping gear, the Legnum VR4 is the ultimate answer. It's the car that proves you don't have to choose between performance and practicality. Japan figured out how to have both. Number 4. Toyota Aristo V300 Vertex. Halfway through the list, let's talk about Japan's answer to the BMW M5. The Toyota Aristo V300 Vertex was a luxury sedan that could run with supercars, and most people had absolutely no idea what they were looking at. Released in 1997 as part of the second generation Aristo lineup, the V300 Vertex wasn't just fast, it was surgical. This was Toyota's flagship performance sedan, and they held nothing back. The Vertex trim came equipped with the legendary 2JZ GTE engine. Yes, the same twin turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-6 from the Supra. Factory rated at 280 horsepower thanks to the gentleman's agreement, but everyone knew these engines were making closer to 320 horsepower from the factory. With rear-wheel drive and a sophisticated 4-speed automatic transmission, the Aristo 300 could hit 60 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds and keep pulling hard to an electronically limited 155 miles per hour. Remove that limiter and sort the tune, and you're looking at a sedan that could chase down Ferraris. But the real appeal was the tuning potential. Because the Aristo shared the bulletproof 2JZ GTE with the Supra, the aftermarket went insane. A simple boost controller, exhaust, and ECU tune could push you past 400 horsepower. Go deeper with upgraded turbos, fuel system, and internals, and 700 plus horsepower was achievable on a platform that still looked like an executive sedan. People were building 1,000 horsepower Aristos that could drive to work, run 9-second quarter miles, then drive home in air-conditioned comfort. The styling was understated elegance, smooth lines, a refined grille, and absolutely nothing that screamed performance. Inside, you got leather everywhere, wood trim, climate control, and all the luxury features you'd expect from a flagship Toyota. It was the perfect Q car, luxury on the outside, super hard underneath. In the United States, this car was sold as the Lexus GS 300 and GS 400, but those versions used different engines and missed the twin-turbo 2 JZ magic entirely. The JDM Aristo V300 Vertex was the only way to get the full Supra powertrain in a 4-door package. Even today, the Aristo remains one of the most underrated Japanese performance sedans. While Supra prices have gone stratospheric, you can still find clean Aristos for a fraction of the cost. It's the ultimate sleeper for anyone who wants that legendary 2JZ without the sports car tax. Number 3. Subaru Forester STI. From luxury sedans to rally-bred SUVs, the Subaru Forester STI is proof that Japan had zero Zero chill in the early 2000s. Released in 2004 as a limited Japan-only model, this wasn't just a Forester with some badges and a body kit. Subaru's STI division took their family SUV and transplanted the heart of an Impreza WRX STI into it. The result was one of the most unexpected performance vehicles ever built. Under the hood sat a turbocharged 2.5-liter boxer engine, producing 265 horsepower and 252 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. This was the same EJ257 engine found in the Impreza STI, complete with the iconic boxer rumble and rally pedigree. Power went through Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive system, meaning this SUV could launch like it was built for dirt roads and rally stages, because the DNA absolutely was. The Forester STI could hit 60 miles per hour in around 5.5 seconds, making it faster than most sports cars of the era while sitting higher off the ground. But Subaru didn't stop at the engine swap. The STI got upgraded Brembo brakes, a sport-tuned suspension, STI-specific wheels, and a body kit that was subtle enough to keep the sleeper status intact. Most people just saw a Forester, a practical, sensible SUV for outdoorsy types. Only the badge on the back and the hood scoop gave away what was underneath. Inside, it maintained the Forester's practicality with comfortable seating and cargo space, but added STI touches like sport seats and a leather-wrapped steering wheel. The genius of the Forester STI was the versatility. You could load camping gear, handle terrible weather, navigate rough terrain, and then absolutely embarrass someone at a stoplight who thought you were just another slow SUV. It was the ultimate cue car for people who needed utility but refused to sacrifice performance. And because it was never sold outside Japan, most of the world had no idea it even existed. Subaru only built the Forester STI for one generation, making it genuinely rare even in Japan. Today, with the 25-year rule still blocking 2004 models from US import, these remain a forbidden fruit for American enthusiasts. But for those who can get their hands on one, it's the ultimate sleeper SUV. Practical, quick, and almost completely unknown. Number 2. Nissan Ranessa GT Turbo. If you thought a rally SUV was weird, wait until you see what Nissan did with a minivan. The Nissan Ranessa GT Turbo is one of the strangest sleepers Japan ever produced, and that's saying something. Released in 1997, the Ranessa was Nissan's quirky attempt at a tall wagon or compact MPV, boxy, practical, and designed for young families who needed space. Then Nissan's engineers had an idea. What if we gave it the SR20? The GT Turbo trim packed a turbocharged 2.0-liter SR20 inline-4 producing 190 horsepower, the same engine found in the Silvia S14 and 200SX. But unlike those rear-wheel drive sports cars, the Ranessa sent power to all four wheels through Nissan's Atessa all-wheel drive system. This meant you had a tall, boxy people mover with legitimate sports car hardware hiding underneath. The combination of turbo power and AWD made the Ranessa GT Turbo shockingly quick off the line, and the raised driving position meant you could see over traffic while leaving sports cars behind. The styling was peak 90s quirky Japanese design, tall roofline, large greenhouse windows, sliding rear doors on some models, and absolutely nothing about it suggested performance. It looked like a vehicle designed to haul kids to soccer practice, not attack mountain roads. The only hint was the subtle GT Turbo badge and slightly sportier wheel design, but most people would walk right past it without a second thought. Inside, it maintained that practical family hauler layout with versatile seating and decent cargo space. But here's what made the GT Turbo special. It was genuinely fun to drive. The SR20 was a proven tuner engine with massive aftermarket support, and the AWD system gave it grip that a tall wagon had no business having. You could take corners with confidence, merge onto highways with authority, and generally drive it like you stole it while looking like you were on your way to Home Depot. It was the ultimate sleeper for people who needed practicality but refused to drive something boring. Nissan never sold the GT Turbo outside Japan, and even in its home market, it was a slow seller. The quirky styling and oddball positioning meant it never found a huge audience, making survivors genuinely rare today. For enthusiasts hunting the most unusual sleepers from the 90s, the GT Turbo checks every box: turbocharged, all-wheel drive, practical, and almost completely unknown outside Japan. Number 1. Nissan Leopard F31 Ultima. We've reached the top of the list, and it's a car most people have never heard of. The Nissan Leopard F31 Ultima was Japan's answer to the Gran Tourer, a luxury coupe that blended style, comfort, and surprising performance into one sleek package. Released in 1992 as part of the third-generation Leopard lineup, the Ultima trim represented the pinnacle of what Nissan could build when they prioritized refinement over outright aggression. Under the long hood sat a 3.0-liter VG 30D EV6 producing around 230 horsepower in naturally aspirated form, though turbocharged variants pushed that number higher. Power went to the rear wheels through either a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic, and the Leopard's long wheelbase and balanced chassis made it a composed cruiser on highways and back roads alike. This wasn't a car built to set lap records. It was engineered for effortless speed and comfortable mile eating. The smooth V6 delivered power in a refined, linear way that matched the car's Grand Touring character perfectly. The styling was pure early 90s Japanese luxury coupe, sleek lines, pop-up headlights, a low-slung profile, and proportions that borrowed heavily from European GT cars of the era. It looked expensive, sophisticated, and nothing like the boy racer machines Japan was famous for. Inside, the Leopard Ultima was loaded with leather, wood trim, premium sound systems, and every luxury feature Nissan could throw at it. This was a car designed for adults who wanted something fast but didn't need to announce it to the world. What made the Leopard special was its positioning. It sat below the skyline in terms of performance focus but above it in luxury and refinement. It was Nissan's flagship personal luxury coupe, competing with cars like the Toyota Soarer and Mazda Cosmo. The Ultima trim took that formula and elevated it. More power, better materials, sharper handling. It was the thinking person's sports coupe, prioritizing balance and sophistication over raw numbers. Nissan never exported the Leopard F31 to the United States, keeping it exclusive to Japan and select Asian markets. In America, we got the Infiniti J30 sedan, which shared some platform components but lacked the Leopard's coupe styling and sporting edge. That obscurity has kept the Leopard virtually unknown in the West, even as other 90s JDM coupes have gained cult followings. Today, clean examples are rare even in Japan, and with the 25-year rule now allowing imports, the Leopard F31 Ultima represents one of the last affordable entries into 90s Japanese Grand Touring excellence.